This film is brought to you by Journey to Healing Through the Chakras. Take a journey to healing and balance for the body, mind, and soul. www.yogatraveler.online/chakra journey.
Welcome. This is the second chakra, the Sacral Chakra, which is located in the hips primarily, and it's associated with the water element. So you'll see a lot of flowing movement today as we do our practice to loosen up and get into those deep pockets of the hips, which are connected to our creativity and some other things as well. When we do yoga for the chakras, we're always trying to come into balance with our energy and for physical health as well. And sometimes we can be out of balance. So if we have too much energy in our hip chakra, we might notice things like obsessive attachments, addiction to stimulation, mood swings, sensitive, poor boundaries, emotional dependency, and instability. And if we are balanced in our chakra, if we're deficient in our chakra, so not enough energy coming into our chakra, we might be rigid in our beliefs, have emotional numbness, fear of change, lack of desire, avoidance of pleasure, and poor social skills. So our goal today is to become balanced, and we'll do yoga movements that will help us to become balanced so that we can be graceful, that fluid motion that comes with the water element, fluidity to our movements. Have the ability to change. How changeable is water, changing all the time, and we need to be able to adjust to changes in our lives. Emotional intelligence, nurturance of both ourselves and others, healthy boundaries, and some passion. So let's close our eyes, pull our shoulders back, imagine yourself sitting against a wall, and just start to breathe in and out through your nose. Slow and steady breath. I like to visualize the color of the chakra. The color today is orange. And you can imagine a light of orange surrounding your hips, like a light skirt or something like that, surrounding your hips. Energy is associated with light, of course, and we're trying to build some positive energy around our hips today. So let that breath settle in and deepen. And we'll open our eyes and begin our movement. Let's just start to roll around in our hips. Go just one direction. Don't worry, we're going to switch directions on the other side. So for now, pick a way and just start rolling. This is to feel loose, to feel fluid, to have that freedom through those hips. And notice also that your sits bones, the root on the floor. When we do a chakra journey, we're not ignoring the first chakra as we move to the second. We're honoring that first chakra and moving from it into our second chakra. So just a little bit of root here as well. Good. Nice. Now come back to hold still. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale, fold your way over your legs. And whichever leg you have in the front is the hip that you're going to feel a little more. I've got my right leg in front, so I'm feeling my right hip a little bit deeper than my left. But just notice the way it feels. This spreads our sacrum, so we're going to release some pressure in the sacrum. Come into balance. Good. Roll your way up. Switch the leg that's in front. And let's move the opposite direction. So whatever way you were rolling, I have to think of what I did. Go the other way. Hopefully you remember which direction you rolled last time. Just loose fluid like the water. You'll notice lots of flowing movements today in our practice due to that water element and trying to embrace that feeling. Good. Almost feels childlike to just move around like this. Kids move, they don't even worry about it. And we adults, we let things weigh down on us. Maybe we lose some of that childlike fluidity, that creativity of movement. Let's see if we can embrace that a little bit today. Good, now hold still, take a nice breath, inhale, exhale, fold forward over your legs. You're gonna feel that opposite hip now. Just let your head relax, your arms relax a little bit. Feel that opening up through the sacrum, love that sensation. Gently walk your way up. And let's roll over onto our back. So keep your knees bent, feet on the floor, lay down like you're coming into a bridge pose. And we're going to use the motion of the bridge pose to kind of snap the energy. Now, nothing that we do in yoga is a snap, but we're going to just kind of have a lift and a lower with some energy to release something that's stagnant here in the hips. So arms by your side. We'll do this 10 times. Inhale, lift up, squeeze those hips, the glutes and the low back. Exhale, lower it back down. Just like that, 10 times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. If anything, it's going to warm up our hips area, and that's what we want to. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, feel that squeeze, I can feel it for sure. Inhale, snap that energy, exhale, we've got 5 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 3 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale, exhale. Good. Pull your knees into your chest. Press that curve of the spine to the floor. Feel that warmth. Just hug that warmth into your body. And then roll yourself up to Uttanasana. Now, I like to rock and roll. If you do not like this, you do not have to. You can just lift up and get onto your feet in a forward bend. I'm going to roll about 3 or 4 times. I like that water element, that motion. Good. Then come up and move into Uttanasana, folding forward. Nice deep forward bend. We can pull up through the middle of our body to have a nice lift in our center, and then let ourselves just hang over those legs. We've got long length through the hamstrings. Hamstrings are connected to the hips. So we can feel that. And just relax your neck. Doesn't matter if your hands are not on the floor like mine are. They might be hanging or just pressing into your legs somewhere. Take 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Step the right leg back. And take your right knee to the floor, way down deep onto the ground. Our left knee is bent, and we want to make sure that the knee does not press over the toe. So make sure that it is in line there. And here's a good place to potentially use your blocks. You could place them right by your foot, just to give you a little elevation through your chest. Now, some of you might feel okay to have the hands on the ground, and that's totally fine. We're pressing the hips down toward the mat and lengthening the right hip flexor here, and this left hip is getting a nice squeeze. So we're working on different facets of our hips in this hold. Good. Now take it one step deeper and bring your left hand to the inside of that left foot. Here's another place where you might use your blocks. You could take your elbows down onto your blocks if it's a little too far to bring the elbows to the floor. So you decide. I like to roll to the edge of my left foot there to open up the hip even deeper in this lizard pose. This is quite intense. Pay attention to your body. If it feels too far, especially in that right hip flexor, lift up. Use your hands. Use a block. Pay attention to what your breathing is doing. Be safe at all times. Good. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now press back up again. And let's take this left foot back and move into all fours. Remember our fluidity of motion. Those were 2 long holds. So now we're going to be fluid and take a cat and cow. Drop your belly down, tilt the hips upward, send the gaze up. Exhale, round through the spine, pulling and tucking in with the hips. Inhale, arch, belly drops down, send the gaze upward. Exhale, round, pull and lift and tuck those hips. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Kind of that snapping motion as much as yoga snaps. This is sort of that same thing. Exhale, round. Come back to neutral. Take the right foot forward now. Maybe use your blocks again. Get as wide as you can handle. Making sure that your alignment, knee stacks on top of your ankle, pressing downward and forward. And utilize the blocks or not. Hand can be to the floor. Your hands can even be up on your knee. And that's fine. Of course that's fine. Do what you can. Feel that nice length. Really good stretch. Good. One step deeper toward the lizard pose. Take your right hand to the inside of your right foot. If you want to roll to the edge of your right foot, great. If you want to deepen onto your elbows or elbows on your block, that's great too. It's all good. Just feel that opening up. This is the outer edge of the hip, that IT band. Definitely a spot that gets tight. We want to feel it open up today, loosen up. Good. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Gently press onto those hands. Let's take our right foot back again. We're going to go back to our movement. This time, just rolling your hips around. It feels really nice just to roll and press. Kind of get in the corners, in the cobwebs of the hips. Go all directions. I especially like this forward motion. Presses down through the sacrum and the low back, and that feels nice to me. Feel it, loosen it, stretch it out. Shake it off. Shake off those dusty hips. Good. Now roll up onto your toes. Press those hips to the sky and push back. Heels drop down to the floor. They don't have to touch, but they're headed in that direction. This is our first Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. And we've worked both hips, so we should feel really equal between both hips. Notice that, how good it feels to have stretched and lengthened and strengthened both hips. Good. Bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, step up to the hands, back into our Uttanasana. Exhale, fold into the legs. Inhale, reverse swan dive, reach up to the sky. Exhale, Samastiti. Good. Now we're going to take those movements and put them into a flow. Remember that water element. Follow along. I think you'll get the sequence easy enough. Reach your arms up. Inhale. So it's a variation of a sun salutation. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, halfway lift. Exhale, step the right foot back into that low lunge. Let's keep the knee lifted. Inhale, feel that extension through the inner thigh and groin. Exhale a little deeper. Take your left hand to the inside of the left foot. Feel free to drop to your elbows if you want to go deeper still. Inhale. Exhale. Shift it up. Inhale, let's step this left leg back. Exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale, release the knees. Exhale, 2 rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, drop the belly, send the gaze up. Exhale, pull and lift. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, step or hop up to the hands. Exhale, fold into your forward bend. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale. Let's do it one more time so we can get our left side. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, look up, halfway lift. Left foot's gonna go back now. Exhale, step the left foot back. Keep your knee lifted, nice and wide as you can go. Watch that alignment. Inhale, take your hands to the inside. If you want to deepen, exhale, come down onto your elbows. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Shift it back up onto those hands. Inhale, we're gonna step the right foot back and drop your knees. Exhale. Ready for 2 rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, belly drops down. Exhale, press and lift, pulling and shifting back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come to neutral, roll into your toes. Exhale, press back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Nicely done. Let's move on. Let's keep getting into those hips, being nice and fluid. Raise your right leg up and back behind you. Inhale. Exhale, bring it through in between the hands. Drop your left heel down. Windmill your arms around. So we're in Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana B. So this is nice and wide here. Again, look down, make sure your knee is stacked on top of your ankle. If not, you need to either widen or lift up a little bit. Don't go quite so far down. We're going to keep this nice bend, this opening up of the inner thigh, pulling under with our hips, tilting that pelvis, and just being fluid with our upper body. So bend to reverse warrior. Inhale. A little more tension on that left hip. Exhale. Parsvakonasana, just drop your forearm to the thigh. We'll go a little deeper in a moment, but for now we're going to keep it fluid. Inhale, tilting back and forth. I like that stretch on the right hip there. Exhale, feel a little bit more energy into that right hip. Inhale, tilt it back. Exhale, bring it forward. One more time. Inhale, tilt it back. And exhale, bring it forward. Now, if you're okay right here, stay here. If you want to go deeper, you can take your hand down. You've got blocks. You can place your hand on a block, pinky edge of your foot, or even all the way to the floor. You decide how deep you want to go. We can feel this hip, definitely. You might even feel like that leg is about ready to give in, but it's strong. Our hips are strong. They can handle it. Good. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Let's straighten through the legs and turn your toes toward each other. Now we're going to get into the outer edges of our hips with Prasarita Padottanasana A. Hands on your hips. Look up. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Hips tilt. As you fold down, take your hands to the floor or on your block and walk them back between your feet. If you shift a little weight toward your toes, you're going to feel those hamstrings lengthening here. Take a breath, press into the floor or your block. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold back down. And we can feel how nice the sacrum opens. It's beautiful for the sacrum in this position. Feels so great. All that long length through the backs of the legs, through the entire spine as we fold forward. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, press into the floor, look up. Exhale, bring your hands to your waist. Inhale, lift up. Good. Exhale, turn your right knee back to the front of the mat. Ready to get into that fluid motion again as we move to our other side. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale, windmill the hands down. Step your right foot back. Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Nicely done. Left side. Inhale, lift the left leg up and back behind you. Exhale, bring it through. Draw that right heel down. Windmill your arms up and around. I'm going to turn my body so that I'm facing you. You just make sure that you can still see me. Good. So again, we're drawing that pelvis under, opening up through that inner thigh. Feeling nice and strong in that left hip and stretched through the right. Now let's get our fluid movement. Inhale, tilt it back. Reverse warrior. And exhale, bend it down. Just the arm to the elbow to the thigh for now. We'll go deeper in a moment. Inhale, focus on being loose and free. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now if you feel great here, stay here. If you want to deepen, do it. You can use your block on the pinky edge of the pinky side of your foot. Feel that left hip definitely engaged. Good. Gently press up. Inhale, good job. Straighten up. And now we're going to turn our toes out. So I need to step in because I was really wide. Getting into goddess pose, so the toes are facing outward. With goddess pose, it's important that we don't sink our hips back. Keep your, almost fell over. Keep your tailbone pointed toward the floor and pull all of this open. Nice. Goddess pose index finger to thumb, a little mudra here, traditionally for this. And then, what are we gonna be? Fluid. So let's move. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, open it up. Feel that energy opening into the hips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Hold it. Feel that strength. Part of being balanced is to have the strength that we need in order to be able to move the way we want. Ooh, I can feel that on my quads. Good job. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. We made it. Straighten up. Ooh. And step your feet together, hip width distance apart. Get that forward fold. I can feel it. I need to fold forward to balance that out. Let's look up. Inhale. Padagustasana. Exhale, fold down. You can take your hands to a block. You can reach down, put index finger and thumb around your big toes, and then pull yourself forward. Take a deep breath. Inhale, look up. Shift, lengthen, lift the center. Exhale, fold yourself down. Relax the neck. Relax your jaw. And just enjoy that length all the way through the backs of the legs. Feels nice after being bent to lengthen out the knees. Good. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, release the hold of your feet or on that block. Look and press up. Let's move into one more vinyasa to bring us to the floor. Exhale, bend your knees, hands down, step back to a plank. Just take a breath here. Inhale, we'll catch up with each other. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, let them open up a little wider than the hips. Sit down into child's pose, feels really nice. All of this nice opening up through the sacrum. Let the body relax just a moment. We want to be sure we can catch our breath. Good. Now lift up. And let's roll ourselves to sit with our legs extended wide into Uttanavista Konasana. Now this can be a difficult pose. I don't have terribly open hips. I work on it, right? We all do. So if anything, regardless of how wide you're going, make sure your toes are pointing up to the sky. We're not gonna let our toes roll forward as we do this sequence. We're just gonna sit tall for a moment and we're gonna move. So pretend like you're a tree moving in the wind, or you're moving through water, which would be more appropriate for our element, I guess. And just move back and forth between your hips. You are getting a little bit of my ballet training, because it's really hard for me to do this fluidity without adding a little bit of grace of ballet. But that's one of our goals, to become balanced in this sacral chakra, is to be graceful movement. Good. Feels nice on the low back. Notice that, because our legs are so nice and wide. Good. bring yourself to the last side. See if you can make yourself equal between how many little moves you did. And let's come up. Take our hands to our hips and just rotate. So our legs are staying where they are, but our torso is rotating. And we're gonna fold over the right leg. Now I can grab my foot, but not everyone can. So maybe grab your leg. Maybe you're up here somewhere, and that's totally fine. Maybe you're able to bend your elbows and bring them to the floor. Or again, you got your block. You're bringing your elbow to your block. Just pay attention to the sensation that you're feeling through that inner thigh. And it's giving a really good tug into the low back by this left hip here. Good. Now walk your hands around, fluid motion. We're moving ourselves to the other side. If you're using a block, bring it with you and let yourself fold onto that left leg. Remember, you don't have to touch your foot in order to feel it. That is not how we get sensation. It's not necessarily the quantity of the stretch, it's the quality. We've got our knees straight, we've got our toes pointed to the sky. We can feel that fold. Good. Now fluidity of movement. Come to the middle. You knew we had to get there eventually. Hopefully, because of our movement, because of our deep tugging, we can be a little deeper than we might have been if we just started out in the middle. Relax that breath. Good. Start to walk your way up. Ooh, that was nice and deep. Carefully pull your feet together to Baddha Konasana. Sometimes people call it a butterfly pose, and we're gonna be like butterflies. I want you to just shake your legs. See how my knees don't even get close to the floor? Maybe some of you do. I wish I had your hips, but I don't. So I'm gonna massage my hips a little bit. Open them up a little bit. And then hold that motion still. Hopefully I've loosened things. Press my heels even closer to my hips. And then fold your way down. Hopefully we opened up those hip flexors just a little bit. Keep pressing down that downward motion of those butterfly flaps. Pull your shoulders back, extend your head, and let the neck just fall down. This is a really nice, deep, open position for the sacrum. You can feel that in your low back. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift it up. Great job. Hold your knees together. Let's bring ourselves onto our backs. Keep our knees bent. And we'll move into a traditional bridge pose. So last time we snapped it. That's just what we're calling it. And this time we're going to hold it. So you can either bring your arms out to a T, you can bring your arms by your sides, but let's roll from the base of the spine, one vertebra at a time. If you have your arms by your sides, try to draw them behind you, clasp them together, pull yourself to the edges of your shoulders, and lift up. Opening up that chest. Lifting the hip flexors. This is a great stretch for the hip flexors. So the front of the hips, that's the psoas, iliopsoas, technically. Good. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. Take your arms out to a T. And just let the legs drop from side to side. So that going back to that motion again after having held still, moving into the motion. This feels great along the psoas, the front of the hip, and you can get into the quadricep a little bit. And we are getting into the sacrum as well. So you gotta love that too. Good. Now hold that motion still. We're gonna do one more bridge pose. Option for you to move into a wheel pose, Urdhva or using a block underneath to just lift and hold without having to work so hard, or just go back to the same bridge pose that you did last time. So I'll demonstrate a wheel. You choose the one that works for you. Let's go ahead and lift on our inhale into whatever position we choose. All of the positions are going to open up the chest, open up the hip flexor in the front of the hips. Give a little squeeze to our low back, so some strengthening for the low back, which balances out all of our forward bends. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, tuck your chin if you're in a wheel pose, so that as you come down, you're not going to strain the neck. And pull your knees into your chest. Pushing the curve of the spine to the floor. Couple deep breaths. We're letting our body cool down a little bit as we move toward resting. But let's take one final position first. Supta Baddha Konasana, where we bring our feet together and let our knees open to the side. Now you'll notice the curve of your spine. The pelvis is now tilted down. There's a little lift in the low back that wasn't there just a moment ago. I like to take my hands to my legs, do a little help for gravity. Push those open. And let the body relax. Now some of us might really love this position. If you do, you are welcome to stay here for Shavasana. I would probably just relax my arms. I like to take my palms to the sky, and you can hang out right here and enjoy the body's restorative, final restorative pose. If this is not as comfortable for you, straighten out the knees. Take your legs to each edge of your mat so that you're still nice and wide in the hips. And again, the palms open to the sky. And allow your body to rest. I will wake you up with the sound of the chakra tone, our sacral chakra tone. So for now, just let your mind and body relax. Let yourself get the restorative energy that you need from the beautiful energizing practice that we have done. Start to wake yourself up. Rotate through your wrists and your ankles. Point and flex your feet. Stretch your arms overhead to lengthen through your body. Roll yourself over onto one side in fetal pose, which is a pose of renewal, starting over after a beautiful practice together. Press up to a comfortable seated position and bring your hands to heart center. We'll finish with this quote by Tao Te Ching. Beneath heaven, nothing is more soft and yielding than water. Yet for attacking the solid and strong, nothing can take its place. Therefore, the soft can overcome the hard. The weak can overcome the strong. Thank you for your practice today. Namaste.